Well, good morning, my Teaser King family. How is everybody today? I am doing okay. We will walk through gold and silver and answer the important questions like the key to life and why jobs basically suck. And they're very, very correlated and similar. And just one second. All right. So first, we'll look at our gold and silver when we get into those questions. So we see silver down $8, 76.32. What the fuck is that about? We see gold down $126, 45.50. What the fuck's that about? Now, the best part is if you look at the gold graph and let me switch it to silver. So here's the gold graph and I hit silver. Oh, fuck. It's the same graph. Like, what kind of bullshit is that? Anyway, again, this is why I stress it's paper, and this is why I stress not to worry. So the price of silver was 88 2 days ago, and now it's 76. What's the real price? Well, it ain't the paper price, it's the physical price. There's only 1 million tons versus 76 million. So they're playing games with the 76 million. It's JP Morgan, it's some of these central banks that are bullion banks that run the options. They don't understand it. They think that, oh, the price is too high. I'm going to short it because the price shouldn't be 88 when in fact the price should be about 1,000. Again, these are people dealing in paper, not physical. There's a lot more paper supply than physical, which makes it total bullshit. So this is why we don't worry about it. We're back at 4,500 gold. It'll bounce back to 4,800. It was sitting between 46 and 47 all week. It's not the end of the month, so it's just, they make money on these options. Is all I can think of, and they missed the whole boat. If you just buy physical gold and let the price run, then you'd be 100 times richer than playing the options. Because if you hit the option, which they do because it's all Ponzi scheme, you're still in money. You still haven't done anything. So this is the problem. So this is why we don't worry. This is why we hold physical, and we know it's worth 10 times more at least, and we'll get there. And it's just it can only go up for so long. How long that is, we don't know. Like the Titanic's sinking, but when's it going to sink? Well, I don't know, but the water keeps flowing in the boat. It's going to sink it. And that's basically what we're saying here. The physical is there. These paper prices keep going. And it's all bullshit. But it will go out. I went to 4 places for my glasses yesterday. I went to one and it was closed again. They closed on Wednesday for some seminar, and then they're closed on Thursday. Who closes your store on a Thursday? Unbelievable. So then I went to this other one that I heard about, and they were expensive for the exam, and you would have had to schedule it. And then she gave me somebody else, and I went to another store, and I couldn't get an exam till July. But you can't get new glasses without knowing the prescription. Then she gives me somebody, oh, there's somebody else that you can go to. I went there, and it says they're open till 5. It was 4 o'clock, and they were gone. So I went to 1, 2, 4 different eyeglass places for nothing, right? And so they tried to fix this because this got bent, but they can't. So I called my old guy, and of course he's retired, but they can take me next Friday, and the price is reasonable. The first price was like $250 for the eye exam, which I thought was crazy. This one's $150. So okay, I know I'm going to pay at least $100. So I said that's fine. So you can see me then. And they said if you come in, we should be able to fix this because they have machines and that can bend this back and fix it without breaking it. So, that'd be great if you could do that. So hopefully they can do that. And they're the ones I bought these at. So at least they can maybe pop the lenses out and put them in new frames. And at least, because this is crazy. This, because it's kind of caved in. So my vision's a little bit rough to see out of. Okay. The secret of life. What is it? Now I led that so people can actually come in and hear. I could have just said it on the title, but it's much more fun doing it this way. The secret of life is communication. The reason you have problems is lack of communication. I'm pissed off here because they didn't tell me I was getting a 25-year-old fridge. Now, I didn't know to ask because everywhere I've been, I've gotten a new fridge, a new oven, a new dishwasher. So you always got new appliances when you moved in, or at least current things. This one right now is not noisy, but sometimes the freezer makes it noisy, and that's what wakes me up at 6 a.m. So I went to Walmart because it was near that last eyeglass place. I said, I might as well go to Walmart, and I don't need a microwave, but I think I need it enough for 4 or 5 things. If I go get barbecue and I don't eat it all, how am I going to warm it up? Well, I can put it in the oven and bake it, I guess, but the microwave is much quicker. Also, my castor oil I put on my head, and if I don't drink all my coffee, but I want to heat it, I just want to heat it. So I felt, okay, it was $50 in clearance, and it was Honeywell, or it was Hamilton Beach. Now, it's not the real big one, but it's a fair size. So it's giving you this medium one. And so I bought that for $50. I said, for what I'm going to use, put a bowl in, put a plate, put a coffee in, put some chicken in. I said, this is big enough, which then led me to the refrigerator. I says, well, if I have to buy my own, because these guys are super cheap, then I will maybe buy the 3/4 fridge. I don't need a full fridge, right? Even if Daria comes or Alyssa's here or whatever, I don't need to fill the fridge. I'll have enough for my milk, my fruit, my veggies, and that's most of what I got in there: fruit, veggies, lemons, salad dressings, and butter. Okay, so I probably have enough room in a smaller fridge that I can do that, and I won't get this noise. And then you buy a little freezer, right? Which all I need to do is put my chicken, my ice cubes, and some frozen veggies when we have no food to eat because of the problems with fertilizer. So that's kind of thinking out of the box, going, well, I really didn't need a full microwave, and I really don't need a full fridge and freezer. It's just for me at this point. Now, if we figure out we need a bigger fridge, we can buy one at that point. My plan is probably just to be here a year and get the fuck out and figure out where to live. Could be Europe, could be Singapore, and it could be the Caribbean, or it could be Florida or somewhere. But I don't see staying in Detroit and dealing with these idiots. It's crazy. Anyway, the old apartment, I finally got to the bottom of that, which was basically, again, communication. And I'll get more into the communication. The thing is with that is they thought I moved out on the 28th. And I said, no, I moved out on May 1st when my thing is. I had paid April 1st for the whole month of April, right? My normal payment. And they're saying, well, it looks like you moved out April 28th, so we're charging you for the 29th and 30th. I said, I'm not paying that. I paid it in the full month, in the rent for the full month, I paid it. So I didn't pay 28 days. I paid the full 30. So I'm not going to pay again. I agreed to pay May 1st, which is fine. And then there was some damages. I spilled, like, I brought in a Diet Coke, one of those big ones from the gas station, and I spilt it on the rug. So I guess it caused damage. I don't buy it. I think they can just easily do the fridge again or do the rug, just shampoo it and that. But they want to charge me $400. Okay, I get $200 security, so I owe $250 is what I think I owe. That's all I'm paying. I'm not paying for the 2 days that I already paid for. I don't care that you screwed up and says, well, you returned the keys on the 29th. I didn't. I returned them on the 1st. What are you talking about? Well, your system showed. Well, your system's wrong. You fucked up. So you need to fix your system. I'm not going to pay for your system thing. So I owe them $280. Fine. Who cares? I knew I'd owe for the 1st anyway. And I figured that was about $50. But the damage is bull. I don't even know if it's damage. If I spill a Coke on the rug, is that considered damage, or is that just normal wear and tear? People spill. That happens all the time. So you're going to charge me for damage for that? They said, well, it looked like a dog peed on it. I go, I don't have a dog. I never had a dog. What the fuck you talking about? No, but I remember it was a Coke. And I think I spilled some tea on it too. Near my desk, I would spill as I was putting my drinks down. Anyway, so I'm much calmer with that. Here, I've asked for a new fridge. I said, I'll be happy to. I don't need a new one. I just need we can buy a 2-year-old. I said, within like the last 3 years. That's what I was told. The compressors are much better and much quieter. And I think normally at our houses, the fridge runs all the time, but with the compressors if you have any kind of new one, you don't hear the compressor, so it doesn't bother you. And here, like this, when the compressor's low like this, it doesn't bother me. And when it's off, which does a little bit, that's fine. But, it's that grinding, which I think's the freezer part. And it just makes a lot of noise. So it shouldn't make that much noise. Again, this is a 25-year-old freezer. What the fuck? You move into an apartment and they give you 25-year-old fridges, and then they replace it with another 25-year-old fridge. What the fuck are they doing? And I said, I want a new one. Well, we don't do new one. Well, then I'm going to buy a new one then. How about that? I don't give a fuck. I'll just move yours out and move mine in, because I'm not going to listen to this shit. It bothers me. It stresses me. Anyway, so why is the key to life communication? Well, that's a good question, but it's a good answer. If you think about it, what happens when there's fights? Bad communication, right? If we look at Alyssa, why is she always stressed? A lot of it is bad communication. She gets yelled at. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And they're yelling at her, which is terrible communication. So she doesn't want to listen. She doesn't like the confrontation. So she ends up, drinking or smoking or whatever she does to kind of calm herself down and ignore the bullshit. She doesn't really want to get into a confrontation of yelling back and forth, and it really doesn't do any good. So, like, when I asked for the fridge, I was very calm. I said, I'll help you pay for it. Or when I was talking to the other apartment about the bullshit, I said, I want to pay for it, but I want to pay for what I owe. I'm not going to pay for things I don't owe for. And but I was calm about it. Like, I'm not trying to not pay. I'm just trying to pay for my fair share. If I owe $10, I'm not going to pay $15. So anyway, if you have good communication, then there's no need to fight. If you say, well, I'm going to swim, there's no, where did you go? And then the doubt creeps in, and then you start fighting because, well, you didn't tell me where you're going. And so you really got to learn the other person, if it's a relationship, to what they want. So you're very open and you go, what do you want? What do you like? What do you dislike? And understand the person, and then you communicate with them. Like Daria was very clear. She was gone for like a week, and then she told me, and I don't want to say it here, but she told me what was wrong. So this is what you do, and this is the key to it. You've got to be open and free to be with the other person. And I think most people aren't free, and they don't communicate, or they're scared to communicate. People get jealous for no reason because there's no communication. The person won't tell what's going on, or the lying comes in. I'll be home in 10 minutes and I'm not going to be home in 2 hours. And the person's waiting, and then it's frustrating. And the person's waiting 10 minutes for you to show up and you don't. And that's a big problem. And why is that? Well, you're scared to say something. See, you're not communicating. And that's why it's such a big deal in life. If you communicate, then people understand it. Now, do they choose to, what's the word I'm looking for? Judge you. Well, I want to do this. I want to bet. I'm going to go play poker. Are you judging me that I'm gambling and I'm playing poker? Well, then go fuck off. But I'm going to communicate. Friday night, I'm going to MGM to play poker. Now you know where I am, and I'm there to play poker. And if you don't like it, you should say something. But I'm not going to not play it. So I make that very clear up front. I communicate. I play poker. I bet football. I buy gold and silver, which a lot of people don't understand. And I teach the economics and all this. This is who I am. So I communicate that out so people understand what's going on. Now you can choose to judge me or not judge me, or like me or not like me. And then that ends the relationship. Oh, I don't like a guy who bets football. Okay. But that's what I do. So I'll either look for a girl who doesn't mind or doesn't judge me or whatever. And the girl might smoke, and she says, I smoke. And then she's communicated that to you. Then you make the judgment. Is that okay or not? Am I going to have a problem with that or not? But at least you know it, because the problem is, if you don't communicate that the girl doesn't say I smoke, and then she starts smoking, and you're anti-smoking, you're going to have an argument because you didn't have communication. Here, they should have told me, well, look, you're not getting a new fridge. You're getting a 25-year-old fridge. And I would have looked for a different apartment. Or I would have said, can we bring in a more modern one? So I'm still waiting to hear back on that. I will throw this fridge out, and I will buy one of those half fridges and freezers and fuck it, because that's all I need. How much food do I really need in the fridge and in the freezer? I just have chicken I buy on sale and steaks I buy on sale, and I throw them in the freezer, and ice cubes, and I got some frozen veggies that I don't even know how to make. They're like the packet, the Bird's Eye. I tried it once. It tasted terrible, but I probably didn't cook it right. I think you have to defrost it, and then I don't know what else, but I don't know if they're any good or not. But I don't eat them. I really eat the fresh fruits and veggies. But again, it's the communication. The other apartment did communicate that I would owe for May 1st, so I knew that, and that if there was damages, and okay. So I knew that was coming, but I didn't expect this much. I thought the security deposit was $200 would offset that. So after talking to the girl yesterday, she told me, well, the security deposit did offset, but it was really $400, not $200. That's how we got to the $200. Oh, okay, that's fine. And the 50, all right. And the problem is this 2 days. Okay, well, that's communicated. So now I understand it. And then I can say, well, I'm not paying the 2 days. So I said, I'll pay you this, what I owe you. I'm not really going to challenge them on the damage to the rug. I don't know if it's normal wear and tear. I could call an attorney, and it's fine. It's not worth it to me. It's $280. Fine. It's nothing. It's petty cash. Okay, fine. Here you go. See, I spend my money, but I spend it wisely. So I don't spend it on a lot of bullshit. But if I need to do that, I'll do it. If I need to buy a fridge, I'll do it. That's really what the gold's for. And but that's the key to most relationships is the communication. You tell the person, if he's a pretty girl or a handsome guy, if you're a woman and you like the look, but you got to dig in and you got to say, hey, I bet on football. Is that a problem? I teach this class. Is that a problem? And if it is, you just tell them this is who I am. And if you don't like me, that's fine. And then you don't get started and you don't get the lovey-dovey and you don't get all the other, and that's really the key to it. But it's mostly that kind of problem is the communication. So if you're honest with people hate liars. So don't lie. People will know you're lying. Like I say, if you say I'm going to be home in 10 minutes and it's an hour later and you're not home, it's going to frustrate and upset the person. Why did you lie to me? Alyssa did that to me way back and I told her to fuck off. And I said, it's disrespectful that you're lying to me. Not the lie. It's not, if you would have told me the truth, it would have been fine. We would have problem solved it. But the fact you lied to me is a disrespectful thing. It means you don't respect me and you're going to lie to me. And I don't have time or patience for liars because then I can't trust anything you say. Well, fuck, if you're lying to me, that's why lying hurts. It's disrespectfful and you can't trust the person. So in most relationships or just friends, they can't. If you catch them in a lie, you just say, no, see you later, because that ruins the whole context of what they're telling you, if that's even real. Wait, you lied to me, so now are you lying to me again? And can I believe what you're saying? And these are the problems. So that's really what we're dealing with. And that's really what communication is you being honest and you're telling the people. Now, do you have to tell them everything? Do I have to tell Alyssa I'm talking to Daria? I do tell her that, but do I have to? Probably not. But if she asks about it, then I can either not answer or I can say yes and be honest. But you got to be honest with it. You can't lie. I don't know where lying benefits anybody at any time. Some things maybe, but generally 99.5% of the things you got to tell the truth. So that's the communication problem. God, these glasses. That's the communication problem. So sorry about the glasses, but I accidentally bent them and I can't unbend them. And I'm worried about breaking them. That's why I'm trying to get new glasses. I didn't know it was this difficult. So even with the glasses, it's like, okay, next Friday, they tell me $145 for the exam. And then I'll buy glasses either there or go back to one of the stores that gave me prices on glass. They're about $150, $160 for frames and lenses. Fine. That's perfect. Because I need a new pair anyway. I didn't know. These are 7 years old. She looked up my account because my friend was the eye doctor, has retired. So she said, well, let me get your number and then I can see when you were here. I was there like 2017 or 2018. It's 8 years. I've had these, but my eyes haven't changed because I got off the sugar. So when you keep eating sugar, your eyes change. But as soon as you kind of get your blood pressure down and get your sugar down and not eat your carbs and you fast, my eyes really haven't changed much. So I was like, I haven't needed a new pair in 8 years. So that's a good sign. Anyway, but it's the communication. And it's looking for work. It's talking to somebody like here at the apartment. You want to tell the truth. And that's what's happening and go from there. So I told them I'll buy a new one. I said, if you want, we'll split it. I saw a fridge for $1,100 at ABC Warehouse. I'll pay half. You can pay half. Surely you buy new fridges, or we can look and you probably have access to a lot of used fridges, and we can buy a used fridge. And it'll be maybe $500-600 for a 2 or 3 year old fridge. Okay, fine. We'll buy that. People are going to be losing their houses with this massive depression that we're in, and there'll be appliances on sale very cheaply. So I'm not worried about that. And I'll just keep it here. I won't take now. If we split it, you can keep the fridge. If I buy that, 3/4 one that you normally stick in your garage and the freezer, I will take that with me then. You can keep this bullshit fridge. I don't understand. It's 20 years old. What the fuck are you giving it to me for? Why the fuck aren't you buying new ones? See, that's just weak communication there. Anyway, but that's really the key to life, because if you tell the truth and you're with people that understand you and accept you, and they don't judge you, then it's fine. I mean, I've told Alyssa about Daria and Jenna, so she knows that I got, a couple of girlfriends, and she knows that now. She can either accept that or not. And that's the thing. Now, was I out of line? I want some feedback here. So I'm driving Alyssa around the last few days, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and I was on 3/4 of a tank, and then I'm down to almost empty. And she says, "I'll pay for gas." Do you assume she's going to pay the whole gas, the whole kit and caboodle, or she's like, "I'll give you $20 for it"? I assume she'd buy the whole gas because she said, I'll pay for the gas. Well, I've driven you a far distance Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. I had to go to her house all 3 days and then back here, which is a half hour. So it's a half hour down, a half hour back. And then I got to take her back. So, I said, well, that's nice of you. But I assume she's filling the tank with gas, not giving me $20. I says, it's $5 a gallon. So what's 4 gallons going to do? So I filled up. It cost me, she put in 20 and I put in 30, and it filled the car back up. But she was upset that I wanted her to fill the tank. And I said, I didn't want you to fill the tank. You volunteered. I'm going to pay for the gas. And in my mind, that was the whole amount. Now, not a big deal. I was happy she paid anything, but I looked at her like, well, you said you're going to pay for the gas. That's what I would assume. Anyway, it's stuff like that where you get a lack of communication, a bad communication. I'm going to fill your tank with gas. If I'm going to pay for your gas, I'm filling the tank. If you're driving me around, I'm filling the tank, right? My friend came to help me move, and he helped me, and he had the dolly. The dolly was $7 at U-Haul. If you ever move, get a dolly from U-Haul for $7, not Home Depot for $25. And he U-Hauled everything, and then we went back and we put a second load in the car, and he was a big help. I gave him $100, and then I gave him a 1 ounce of silver because I know he's in the gold and silver like we are. And so I did that, and that was the key to it. So he, that was a tip I gave him, but I promised him the money. I said, I was going to give him an ounce of silver. And he says, well, can I have them? I really need money. And I'm like, okay, fine. But I still gave him the ounce of silver. I appreciated him helping me. So you did that. And I was fine with that. And he's like, wow, what's this for? You don't have to. I said, I know I don't have to, but thank you for helping me. And if I need help again, I can count on him. I'm sort of buying favors a little bit, but honestly, I mean, I'm giving him the silver. And if I needed to do other things, I would pay him for it. But that's just the tip, right? You go to a restaurant and you pay for the meal and you give a tip, and that's what the tip was. So it's a lot of communication. People give bad communication. Too many people lie. Too many people don't understand your interest in what you do. And that's really the problem with it. So if you can communicate, and be open and honest with your girlfriend or your wife or your kids, especially. If you can be open and honest about it, then it's fine. But when you start lying to people, they don't forgive you. I had an incident with my dad when I was young. I won't get into it, but he basically, did something wrong, and he never really explained himself. And basically, I told him to fuck off. I was 13, 14 years old, and it was always a little wedge there that he created by lying and not being honest and not being proper. And basically, when he died, he left me life insurance, and only me. He didn't leave it for my brother or sister. And there was a Metropolitan, but I didn't know about it. He never told me about it. So he dies in 1997. It's 2013. And I get a call or some email or something. You have stuff with the state of Michigan, and an attorney's contacted me, and I look at it, and it's money on a life insurance policy. Now, he never told me about it. That's why it took 15 years to figure it out. And I kind of bitched. It was like through Metropolitan Life. I said, why didn't you contact me? Or, it's real hard to email me. But he probably didn't leave enough information for them when he did the insurance. Anyway, so I got it. And it was probably a payback from what he had done to me when I was young. So that was kind of his way, but he should have said something. Had he done it properly and said, look, I need this, I'm going to borrow this, and then I'm going to pay you back, and let's talk about it. But you can't just take something that doesn't belong to you and not say anything about it. I'll never forget, I came home and I looked and was gone, and I'm like, what the fuck? And my dad's, well, oh, yeah, I needed it. I'm like, are you out of your mind? And then it's never like, well, okay, you're going to pay me back? Because, this is ridiculous. You don't do that. So, again, the lack of communication creates the problems, the fights, the people getting on drugs and alcoholics. It's probably all due to they can't handle what happened, and they get upset because somebody lied to them or stole on them. Or what do we hear in marriages? The guy cheats on the woman. Well, if the guy was honest with the woman, he probably wouldn't cheat with them, or it would be okay to kind of cheat. That happens all the time. I mean, you see a lot of women, so if you get the girl and says, well, look, let's do this and that, and let's have this kind of lifestyle, it wouldn't be a problem. But that's, you cheated on me. It's like lying to me. Oh my God. And she gets furious. And then he's, whatever. And that's the problem. And it's a communication issue. I know it's a little bit warped, but it's all a communication issue. If you tell the person, this is the type of person I am, and you like it or not. Now there's people out there for any type of person. People might not, I don't really like when my girlfriends smoke, but I don't tell them not to. That's your choice. So I'm smart enough to realize that. And then I teach class and I do football, and that's what I do. And if you have a problem with that, tell me, but I don't like you smoking because I know it's going to give you cancer, but that's your choice. So you got to respect the person with the choice. So if you communicate, your life's a lot easier. If you just tell the truth and you trust the person and you let the person know. And most people most girls want safety. So they'll be okay with it. Oh, you gamble, just don't lose all our money. I'm not going to lose all your money. I'm going to make you money. Or you buy gold and silver. Made a lot of money with gold and silver. So they trust you. And that's really what most women want. Not all of them, but most of them want the safety and security of a guy they can say anything to and will take care of them. And that's what women in general want. But if you start lying to them, that's it, you're done. And if you start cheating on them, you're done. Now, unless you tell them, that's what I like, and they might like it too, or everybody likes a lot of people. So, um, I'm just saying that's the different types of people. Some women don't want you to even talk to another girl. Okay, fine. So you know that up front, but then you can't lie to them. If you start dating a girl, you got to be honest with them. So that's the trap is the talking to them if you do that. So anyway, so that's the key to life is the communication, because then if you can be open and honest and say, this is what I do, this is what I enjoy to do, and the person accepts you or doesn't. If they don't accept you, then it's not grown enough, so there's no big deal. And if they do accept you, then they accept you, and then you're like, you can be free. That's one of the things with me and Daria. We can be free together. We both discussed everything, and she's very happy with me, and I let her do what she wants. And the Russian women are pretty crazy. And she says, well, that's what I like about you. I can be free with you. And that's important to her. And and I can be free with her. So that's why we work well together. If we ever can meet, this fucking war will ever end. But we're very open, and it's very helpful. And that's the key to it. No lying. There's no reason to lie. It's very disrespectful. Okay, so the key to life is strictly communication. Is it money? Money helps, but you just got to be able to budget. Doesn't mean you can make $1 million if you spend two, you're fucked. You make 100,000 if you spend 500,000, you're fucked. And if you make 100 grand, the key is to spend 90 grand and put some away, and then you have a happy life because you don't have the bills to worry about. People ask me for loans going, do you need a loan for your credit card? And I go, I got gold and the dollar's not worth anything. So I'm not really worried about paying it off. I just pay off the minimum payments because I don't care. It's not worth anything. The dollar's gone. I don't care if I owe. I'm paying you back with monopoly money. But I have gold and silver, which keeps going. Well, it should keep going up. So then I bring up, so is money the key to life? No, because it's about how much you spend versus how much you have. I was watching like all these NBA players, all these athletes are all broke because they get all this money in and they spend more than they take in. And then all of a sudden they retire, get injured, and it stops coming in. And they're not smart enough to do anything. Fortunately, Bobby Bo found me and I got him buying gold, and now he's fine. Because his $1 million a year is worthless because it's inflated. It's really not worth anything. But if he has gold and silver, he'll be okay. But most of the athletes go broke because they spend more. So it's not money. Money is not the key to life. And it's not happiness. And that's kind of where it is. So what else is there? So you want that good partner. You want that good woman, or a woman, you want a good man. Somebody you can trust who's loyal to you and helps take care of you. That's what you want. You need the trust. And that means no lying. And that means talk to me, communicate with me. When I don't hear from Daria for a few days, it really, I'm like, why aren't you talking to me? So she texted me this morning. She says, my VPN's been out on a bad VPN and now Russia's blocking it. So I'm like, fine, I understand that. I said, well, thanks for texting me and telling me. And so it was good to hear from her, that communication. So communication is probably the most important, and you must be honest. If you're going to lie, then lie. Then you don't trust or respect the person you're lying to, or you're afraid of this, or you're afraid of that. It's a bully, the guy's a bully and I don't want to talk to him. I don't want to fight with him. Well, you're at the wrong person. And if you're with a yeller, what are you doing with the yeller? Oh, he didn't yell in the beginning. He's probably yelling because you're lying to him. So there's a lot going on there, but I do believe communication is really the meaning of life, or the biggest thing in life. You are honest, and you this is what I like to do. I like Chinese food. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs. I do this. I do that. I bet football. And you can size me up, but I will be honest with you. You can trust me. I'll be honest. And that, what's more important, what I do or the fact I'll be honest with you. And I think if everybody's honest with each other and not afraid to say I smoke or I drink or I play poker, I think everybody doesn't care. I think they'll be fine. It's when you lie, it's the lie itself that does it. All right, pretty much that. If you have questions or comments, please let me know. Now we get to most jobs suck. The only job that doesn't suck for me is this job, because I'm my own boss. I can say what I want and I'm free. I'm free, basically. When I worked, Mercedes was a good job because I was pretty free. Ford was a terrible environment and GM was worse. Let's take Tenneco, right? The most recent one I had, there was no communication. My boss was Brazilian, could barely speak English. But he didn't communicate. Well, you got to hit the ground running. Well, okay, but what do you want me to do? And so the instructions, he says, well, I really don't know. Well, then what do you want me to do? So I'm going to stumble around. I learned this really inept system called OneStream, which was a horrible system. And I made no bones about it. I told them, I think this system sucks. You should have Essbase. And I'm sure they didn't like that. And I'm like, but that's me. I'm not going to lie to you and say I like OneStream when I knew Essbase was 100 times better. An example, they would call things like whatever the terms were, like task 1, task 2, task 3. Well, what does that mean? Well, task 1 is US dollar and task 2 is budget and tax. Why don't the fuck you just say it? In Essbase, it was you do the thing, you go, give me the year, give me the cost center, give me the account, US dollars, give me actual, give me budget. And it was all a pick list. And this was not a pick list. It was task 1. Oh, what is that? Now I got to interpret what task 1 means. That's why I thought it was stupid. And they're the only company that uses it, apparently, because every other company I've worked at, GM, Ford, and Mercedes, used Essbase and Excel. So terrible communication. My boss didn't really tell me what to do or what not to do. He says, well, can you work on the budget? But he never followed up with that. I thought I was doing well. He never came like, okay, how you doing on it? Questions. And he went away for Christmas, for a whole month from Thanksgiving to Christmas. I'm brand new and he goes away and we don't know, is he on vacation? Is he on sick leave? What is he doing? And he doesn't communicate with us. So I'm like, fine, if he's not doing anything, I'll try to learn this one base, or this OneStream, but otherwise I'm not. I'm not, forget being motivated. I'm confused. What is it you want? And then I show you my 4 years at Mercedes. They communicated with me. That's why it was my favorite 2 jobs, was Hiram Walker with Canadian Club and Mercedes. Why? Because they communicated. They understood me. They let me grow, and they could see I was smart. They gave me important things to do, but they always communicated. It was always, I had good bosses that told me, this is what we need you to do. And if I didn't understand, I could ask them. But usually if they laid it out, you understand. And that's the critical part at work, is when they don't communicate with you. Even when I worked at the grocery store and I was 16, it was like, what do you want me to do? I put the 2-liter pop on the shelf, put the beer on the shelf. Here's where it is. Take the 2-wheeler deli and put it out there. Oh, put some milk out because the dairy people go early, or maybe put some ice cream out. Maybe you need tuna fishes on sale. Why don't you take that out there? And it was basically to take stuff from the back room and put it on the shelf because they're running out. Okay, simple job. But then I had to unload the trucks, and they kind of showed me that. So basically, I knew what I needed to do. At Hiram Walker, I knew what I needed to do. The jobs that are shit is the jobs they don't tell you. The managers are very poor. So I think the biggest problem with most jobs and why they suck is the management is terrible. The management looks at you as an adversary, as you're trying to take my job, as I'm afraid of you, instead of, you have nothing to fear. I'm there to work. I'm not there to take your job. I think that's why I can't get a job now, because most of the managers are young and they see me with the masters and I worked at Mercedes and Ford, GM, and I think they're scared and they won't hire me because he's going to take my job. That's the furthest thing from my mind is to take anybody's job. I'm just there to get money to buy gold and silver. That's my whole emphasis of getting a job now. But they suck because but yesterday I was on at 12 o'clock, or other days I was on a little later. I'm come on at 10 o'clock on a college football day because it starts at noon. And I come on 11 o'clock on a Sunday for pro football because it starts at 1. And we talk. So I know I pick the topic, so I'm free to talk about my key to life and success at jobs. And then we'll talk about gold and silver and COMEX, and we talk about baseball and that, poker and the NBA. And so we're free to talk about things we like to talk about. Well, your work, you're not necessarily doing that. Now, I got lucky enough that I do like analyzing in numbers. So to be a senior financial analyst, it's fine. I'm looking at a ledger and I'm analyzing it. Does it make sense? Okay. I enjoy that. And I had good direction. My boss at Mercedes said, well, I'll give you 90 days. Just learn this and learn. Not that she was giving me 90 days or I'm going to fire me. It was, well, here's what I want you to learn. Let's just learn. Let's just go slow. Then we'll give you more. And within a week, I had already known Excel and what I wanted to do. And I already had worked for Ford. So I knew about engineers and cost centers, and this was just IT and cost center. So I already knew what I needed to do. So it was a very easy job for me. But they let me do it, and they communicated with me. Everybody liked me because if they needed the job done, I got the job done. I was very honest. Oh, you need it Tuesday at 3, Tuesday at 2, you had the information. So they could rely on me. They could trust me. And that's where we go back to the first thing about communication and don't lie. It's the trust. So when you're at a work and they trust you, everything goes, well, I'll give it to Howard. I know he's going to do it. But most jobs don't do that. The managers aren't skilled enough. I worked at AAA insurance. I had no idea what I was doing there. I had to do actuary work, which was out of my realm. And they knew I was a master's in finance. And it was an actuary job. I don't know what that is. I assume you're going to train me, right? And they didn't want to train me. It's like there was a model, but then you had to explain the model. So you're coming up with what the total insurance cost will be for car insurance claims, right? And it's going to be $5 million or whatever. But then you had to explain it. And I had no idea how to explain it. I said, well, I put the models in the model, and the model said this. So, I can't explain it like I can explain football. But there was terrible management. There was terrible training. There wasn't any training. And it was terrible. It was just a terrible communication. And that's why the job failed. Now, I asked for help, but I couldn't get any. My boss didn't know what he was doing. He was in over his head. He wanted me to learn it and teach him. And I'm like, I don't know. You got to at least meet me halfway and train me. So why aren't they willing to train you, right? Let's see who this is. And that's really the problem. They don't want to train you. Just so the managers are scared of you. He's going to take my job. I mean, I don't know. When I apply, I had an interview with DTE Energy and nothing. And you're like, how can you not want me? 4 years at Mercedes. And Mercedes, if they don't like you, they tell you to fuck off. Like they did the guy I replaced. He wasn't doing what the boss wanted. He was doing his own thing. The boss wanted X. He was giving her Y. She said, fuck off. Then they brought me on, and I didn't know what I was getting into. And I said, whatever you want, you're getting. Because I don't care. I don't have the ego. If you want a spreadsheet to look ABC instead of ACB, not a problem. And so she got the information timely, the way she wanted to look at it, and it was always accurate. She checked me out with the ledger and it was tied. And so she was like, she'd be on conference calls with Germany and said, no, my number's right because Howard did it. And Howard's always right. And that's the kind of trust you get. And that's the kind of trust you get in a relationship, right? So the kind of trust you get at the job. But she explained, she communicated with me. There was no communication at AAA. There was no communication. And I say that, like, if you don't tell me what you want, how the fuck am I supposed to do it? Well, you're a smart guy. Yeah, I don't care. Every company's different. I don't know. You are not, GM and Ford are night and day. Mercedes and Ford are night and day. And that's the point. But if you don't tell me what you want, I was at Ford. I didn't know what the hell they wanted me to do. They can't explain it. It's the worst run company in the world because unless your name's Ford, it's really difficult. So this is why GM and Ford are going out of business, because they got into electric, but there's no demand for electric, right? What do I teach in economics? That there must be a market for what you're doing. And the market, there is no market for electric cars. So you're trying to sell an electric car and this guy doesn't exist. So you spend all the money and you go bankrupt because you can't sell it. And if you can't sell your stuff, you're fucked. So that's what happened at Ford. But this is the problem with jobs. I had more communication at the grocery store than I did at Tenneco. The boss at Tenneco was from Brazil. What does he do? You need to hire a Brazil boss? You couldn't even speak English. Very, very bad English. And I didn't understand him. And then at the end, he lets me go. I said, why? He says, well, we're eliminating the position. I didn't know if I believed him or not. It was kind of a weird thing. I says, you sure? Was there anything? And he said, no, it's just they're eliminating the position. At 1:30 on a Monday, they're eliminating the position. Really? So I'd never seen anything like it, but I guess things are changing now. So I said, okay, fine. Well, it's nice working for you. I bought 5 ounces of gold while I was there, and that accomplished my mission, and I didn't learn anything. It was a waste of my time, but I did get money to buy gold, so I guess it wasn't a total waste. But, I just laughed at it like, sure, you're letting me go, right? I'm the star, you're letting me go. Okay, fine. But that's why it's good to have this type of job. But most jobs, they must communicate with you. So you have to really be strong to say, I need this communication. If I don't get the communication, how the fuck am I supposed to do what you want? And it's not, again, every company's different. Like if I'm doing Teaser King and Nick wants to do formulas to figure out football, that's not what I want. I wanted to use thesis. I want to use a little trend analysis, and then just understanding the different variables. And then you can pick the games. And I want to see scores for the games and see how close you are. But the formula won't work. And it took him a while, and then he understands that. But if he's working for me and he's trying to do formulas to pick the games, it's not what I want. But I'm going to communicate to him, we need variable understanding, we don't need formulas won't work. I already know that because there's too many variables. So don't pick games like that. But I wouldn't have anybody else pick the games but me, because I got it down to a science. I've been doing it since 1968 or 69. The first 6 or 7 years were without teasers. And then my dad told me about teasers. And in 77, the first one was the Notre Dame Texas Cotton Bowl. It was Earl Campbell and Joe Montana. That was my first teaser bet. And it taught me, I bet both sides in the same teaser, and Notre Dame killed them. And I go, what an idiot. You take one of them, but then you put the other in a different teaser. You want to keep the teasers alive. And that was the biggest thing I learned from it. But that's what I do. And so again, the reason most jobs suck is the communication, or they don't train you. They assume you know you have a master. Yeah. So what? What is it you want me to do? Why am I here? Why did you hire me? That's what I didn't like about Tentacle. Why did you hire me? Well, yeah, we're breaking out, but now we're eliminating position. Why did you bring the position on in the first place? And at Harley, they liked me, but they were doing electric motorcycles, and Harley people don't want electric motorcycles. So they did that, and they were going bankrupt because there was no demand for the product. These CEOs or CFOs have no idea what they're doing. CEOs, let's do electric motorcycles. Is there demand for an electric? Do people want? Is it a better product? No, it's like the electric cars. Do people want electric cars? I'm not aware that there's a market for electric cars. So why would you make one? It'd be like me picking rugby. Is there a market to bet rugby? Not here. So that's the point. It's very like you got to understand it, and that's where I'm at with it. It's just the communication levels at the jobs, and it's harder. It's easier for me to date a girl and tell Daria this is what I am, or tell Alyssa, or tell Jenna, or tell anybody. You meet a girl. Well, this is what I like to do, and this is what I don't like to do. I like peace and quiet. So if you're going to play music, it ain't going to work. Little music, but not. I need to think, and I can't think in noise. But that's my personality. But you let that know, and then the person can decide. Oh, I can't play my music. I can't be with this guy, or I got to make adjustments, right? But you got to communicate it. But at work, it's harder. Like I said, I had that one interview, and I sat there, and he said, "Do you have any questions?" I said, "Yeah. Do you know why gold is $3,000 an ounce?" And he kind of smiled and said, "No." And I says, "You're a fucking idiot." I didn't say that, but it was like, if you don't understand that what gold is, you're not a critical thinker. And I really don't see working for you because you're basically too stupid to work for. But how do you say that in an interview and then, to go then work there? Now, I didn't get the job, but when he answered that, I was ready to walk out. I mean, that's what you do. You just say, I can't work for you. So it's like the girl saying, I bet on football, and I can't be with a gambler. Right. And then she doesn't pursue you. You like to gamble because my father gambled on football and he lost. And so you're going to lose. And I don't want to have that stress. Okay. I get that. We'll walk away. And instead of wasting time, we'll walk away, and I'll look for a girl who doesn't care about that. As long as they're taken care of and safe, that's all they care about. Don't worry. I win at it. Here's my website. Take a look at it. So, that's really it. And that's where the jobs fail, is when the jobs don't know. They just hire you, but they don't know what they want. They don't really tell, well, you just figure out what to do. Well, I can't. You have to give me some definition. So at Mercedes, I did the Excel, and I did the S-Base, and I did the SAP, and I did all these spreadsheets for the boss. And then I started noticing things. Then I looked at the ledger, and I saw errors, and I looked here, and I saw a problem. I got more into it with the managers, the IT managers. Oh, I could set this up for you. And so then I could carry it on, but you had to get your feet wet, and then you had to start swimming, and then you could go to the deep end, not just hit the ground running and go to the deep end. Well, I don't know what I can't. I don't know what is wanted or needed at that point. And that was basically it. I see Tentacle job postings. I don't even apply to them. I don't want to work there. They're too strange for me. So anyway, that's what it is. And then the new thing is Apollo Capital bought them to sell them off. Well, I don't want to work there. There's no growth. They're just going to lay me off. I'll go look somewhere else. But that's the biggest problem with work. And then for me to get a raise, I got to pick well, and then more people buy from me. That's the nature of my business. Teaser king, right? But at work, you don't get a raise, especially if you're contract. They don't give you raises. They give you this, do that. Oh, maybe you don't even get 3%. They very rarely give you a raise, and they look for ways to get out of it. And, we're going to let you go just before your retirement kicks in. So they screw you all the time. Well, who wants to work for people like that? So most jobs, they just use you, but don't respect you, and they lie to you, and that ends the job. Is the communication is you're lying. I wouldn't stand for it with my friends. I'm not going to stand for it in my working for somebody. So that's the biggest problem, right? You hear people, and all I can say about jobs is the better your skill set, then you make the call. You're in the market. Your skill set's needed, right? So if you have a master's in finance and they're dicking around with you, go fuck you, and I'll go over here. And they see the masters and that, oh, you worked at GM4, yeah, we'll hire you. And that's what they do. And that's why I always say, go to Mercedes, see 4 years there, which means they liked me, they trusted me, and that's what you should get out of me on my resume, not looking at Tenneco lasting 3 months. Oh, that wasn't my fault or my choice. They let me go because they eliminated positions. There's nothing I can do. That's Apollo's making cuts. I don't know. I had nothing to do with it. And if you're looking at, well, you were there for 4 months, oh, you must be a bad worker, then go fuck off. I don't want to work for you anyway. But it gives you options, right? So you want to be a free agent and work. You don't work somewhere for 30 years. That's ridiculous. You don't really work for a pension. You just buy gold and silver and you'll be fine. But jobs are bad because personalities, you get a bad boss. Usually it's a bad boss and a boss that won't communicate. And it's pure and simple as that. I don't know what you want me to do, which causes stress for you. And, when I'm stressed, I walk around. I get bored a lot at work because I'm very fast. So I start doing my job and I'm done with it. Okay, now what do you want me to do? Right? Oh, my boss is busy. I'm going to go walk to the cafeteria and get a coffee. And, the Bloomberg's on the TV. I'm going to watch that, or the Microsoft or whatever. And I got my work done, but I don't know, what else I should do. Especially at Tenneco. I was only there 3 months and it was Christmas. So I was there December, was nothing. And the boss was out, basically Thanksgiving to New Year's. So I really had no idea. I did learn that one stream, but that was it. So it was very difficult place, and all I got was hit the ground running, which, okay, but I don't know what that means. Well, what does that mean, right? So that's why work sucks. You get bad management, people that should not be managers, especially in accounting and IT. They are not people person. They're very shy in accounting mostly. I'm the not shy accountant. But most accountants are scared and shy, and they go into numbers, not people. But they can't manage. They don't know how to talk to you. My boss at AAA was terrible. He would yell at my friends who were other actuaries. He'd yell at him. You'd hear him yelling. And it was like, shut the fuck up. What are you yelling at him for? Are you 5 years old? And I thought he was rude and should never have been the boss. I don't think he knew what he was doing. I think he was an accountant that should have been in accounting, not in actuary. He couldn't explain the job. He couldn't teach me, but he wouldn't let me learn because they would have said, why isn't your boss teaching me? One guy did that. I was trying to learn something and ask questions and said, well, why isn't your boss helping me? I go, well, you know the answer to that. He doesn't know what he's doing. So I thought very badly of the boss, but also very badly of the company. And so I wasted 2 years there. I could do the model very good because that's what I do, but I couldn't explain it. And then the funny part was I couldn't explain it. But then I said, well, what's the answer? And he couldn't explain it. I don't know. You should know. I don't know. How can I know? I don't know. It was like it was more you needed to be like an attorney to explain it. In other words, oh, they passed this law and changed that. Where do I get that from? You're not showing me where I get the information to look at. Was there a law change which changed something, or to explain this difference in in the premiums and in the insurance claims, right? You're not explaining that to me. You're not walking me through that because you don't know, or you assume I know because I have a master. Well, what kind of fucking stupid assumption is that? Well, I thought you could play tennis because you play golf. Well, what does that have to do with it? So at Hiram Walker, very good communication. They kept me in my realm. They showed me stuff, but anytime IT showed me or my boss showed me, I understood it. It was like, okay, I get it. And if I didn't get it, I'd go back and ask. And that was it. So I understood it. And it was very successful. Unfortunately, they sold the company. At Mercedes, I loved it. But Mercedes, there was COVID and they had to lay off all the contractors. So the two jobs I love, I would still be at Hiram Walker if they didn't sell off to, I think, 7-Up or somebody. And I'd be at Mercedes. If COVID never hit, I would have been at Mercedes for 10 years. Because I knew what I was doing. They liked what I was doing. I was respected. I was honest. I gave accurate numbers. And so it's the same thing in relationships as a job. But these other jobs are just, no, that one job that I hated, I was a controller over here. It was a joke. It was a filthy company as far as dirty, broken windows. There's nobody there to ask questions. My boss was in North Carolina. I'd call him up. Hey, nothing. So you're just dumping me here. And to do what? It was like Madoff. There was a bookkeeper who didn't know what she was doing payroll, receivables, and payables. Okay. That's fine. She's doing that. I'm good for her. What am I supposed to do? Right. And that's what it was but I had nobody to talk to ask that. And when I tried to ask my boss, I didn't get anywhere. So he comes in and he lets me go because, 6 months have went by. I've been doing work, but it was like, I laughed at him. I said, it doesn't matter. You'll be out of business in about 6 months anyway. Because there's no market for what you're selling. And I said, you're one of the worst bosses I've ever had. You don't communicate. Yeah, I told him to fuck off and I left. And that was it. It was like, who you fucking with here? I'm a good employee and you just left me here and didn't give any explanation of what I should do. What kind of crap is that? What kind of management is that? Right. So, that's the problem. It was just poor communication. There was no communication, right? And I made up stuff to do. I did inventory and job costing on my own. But I had to do it manually because the computer system didn't work. I got yelled at for not finding a programmer. I'm going, it was this system you never would heard of, right? It's like $100 system that Joe Blow would give you, not a business system. And why didn't you get it? I don't know any programmers. Who the fuck who's going to program this crap? Nobody. Well, all your friends are, the guys at Mercedes program SAP and Excel. They don't program Mickey Mouse software. Again, that was a communication error where I thought I'd be doing more for the CFO than that the interview said. And I was just working there, but under his umbrella. And he wanted me to work for that. I don't want to work for that guy. He doesn't. It was like working for Bernie. He was a scammer. He was just scamming the money. So again, that was a bad communication. They didn't put their cards on the table, and I was very uncomfortable there because I really had no idea what to do, and it was getting no support from the CFO who hired me. And I'd call him up and he'd be busy. And then I'd call some other girl and, okay, yeah, do this and do that. And then I did that. And apparently it was not right. Anyway, those are the problems at work. It's bad communication and mostly bad management. Companies trying to do electric cars because they should, even though there's no Ford and GM are going broke because they did electric cars and there's no demand for it. So you've got idiots running these companies. You've got idiot bosses. They don't really pick the management properly. So you're getting a manager that doesn't know how to manage, doesn't really know how to talk to people, very insecure, and doesn't want to train you. Well, how am I supposed to be successful there? It's like dating a girl who just constantly lies to you and doesn't tell you anything. Where were you? I don't know. And you're like, so of course it bothers you, and there's lack of communication, and that's what I see. Normally, it's bad bosses, and the bosses are going to get worse because as we go on, these younger kids who are now in their 30s who are going to be the bosses cannot communicate at all. They're going to text you, and they're not. I doubt they know how to train. I doubt they know how to talk to people. I wish my daughter a happy birthday. She texted me back, thank you. Not a call, a text. I throw the fuck off. What does that mean? You don't call your father? Like, what the fuck? So it's the texting world is really causing big problems. And now they're going to AI for everything, and AI will not work. It can't work because it can't factor in all the variables. Plus, you need the personal touch. How am I going to get trained by AI, right? I got a question. I don't like it now when I was going up north to the hotel on the lake, and I wanted to ask where the pool open because it was cool. It was like September, and yeah, you can swim in the lake, but you want to be able to use the hot tub and swim in the pool. So the question was, is the pool open? And AI couldn't answer it. Oh, you have to call and talk to a person. Yeah, no shit. So that was the point. And that's why AI will never work because we are too, at least we are, us older people, are too engrossed in talking to people. I don't want to talk to AI. Now, maybe the newer people will text, but you still need clear communication. And if you just have a workforce of AI, it cannot work. It will never work. AI is not capable of doing the jobs I do. No way. It cannot handicap. It cannot play poker. And it could not be a senior analyst who looks at certain things and understands trends, understands what to look at, and goes from there. Anyway. So that's jobs. Jobs suck because of communication, poor management, poor co-workers. Oh, he went to the bathroom, stupid stuff like that, where people are jealous of you or watching you. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Here I'm free to do as I want. I can be on as long as I want, as little as I want. I can miss a day. At the end of the day, it's up to me picking football games. And that's it. And explaining gold and silver to you and stuff. So let's look at gold and silver. And what are we at now? Okay, we got silver at 76.22, starting to come back, and we got gold at 45.36. The low will be 45 because it's fixed, and they'll start doing put option. They've been doing the shorts, and now they're going to go long the put ups. It's a put up and a short down or something. No, it's put ups. I can't think of the word, but anyway. So as it gets lower, they'll start buying, and that's the web we read. And it's just, I think, part to do with the oil. As the prices get up, the dollar is going stronger against Europe, so it forces gold down. I don't know why. It's got nothing to do with the gas prices. Got nothing to do. The dollar cannot be stronger. It's worthless. The euro is weak. Also, it's worthless. So why are we even letting that affect our paper price? But this is the problem. We want a physical price. We do not want this paper price. Anyway, so let's look at our. Now, we had no NBA yesterday, so let's look at our baseball. The Pirates 7-2 started at 12:30. We missed it as the Reds won 15-1, which I thought that would go over, but it was already on. The JETSs win 9-4. We had the JETSs. That's a W. The Tigers stink, basically. The Brewers 7-1, and we had that for 2 units. The Brewers, and that's a winner. We had Miami over 8.5, which won as the Twins won 9-1. Again, we don't care who gets the runs as long as the runs are scored. We have Seattle over 9, and that's a winner. Seattle wins 8-3 over Houston. We have St. Louis, and they win 5-4. W. We had Boston under 8, and with Ranger Suarez, and it's 3-1. It was a 4. And we had Atlanta with Chris Sale under 7.5, and that wins 2-0. The Cubs win. So when you got the Sales and the Ranger Suarez, you're pretty much sure it's going to be a low-scoring game. And then KC over 8 played at 6-2, so it was a push with the White Sox, and the Dodgers win 5-2. The Dodgers won and was 7.5, was 7. So I didn't play the Dodger game. So overall, we won 2 units, 4 units, 6, 8, and 6 is 14, plus 14. Good day yesterday. That's the thing. Ranger Suarez, it was 2-0. No, it's 3-1 Phillies, but they all 3 came in a home run in the 8th inning when he wasn't even in the game. And the same thing with Atlanta and the Cubs. Sale just shut them out, and then they gave up the 2 runs, I believe, when he was out. That's why we bet the under. And that's the problem with betting on the pitchers, because they're going to go 6-7 innings. That's the problem with the sport now. Well, we don't want to hurt the pitcher's arm, so we're gonna play these. We're only gonna pitch them 5 innings. But wait a minute, all these pitchers that are injured, they only throw 100 pitches and they pitch every 5th day, and they're still getting injured. So maybe that's not the key to it. So maybe when the guy's out there, let him pitch 8 innings and actually win the fucking game. I mean, the Red Sox should have won with Ranger Suarez, but of course they took him out. The fridge turned off. I'm so excited. It runs in cycles, but at night it seems louder. Anyway, so if I was managing Boston and I got Ranger Suarez, he's not going 90 pitches. Well, let's see what he did here. Ranger Suarez, the Ranger. He pitched 5 in the 3rd innings through 76 pitches, gave up 4 hits, got a 2.44 ERA. Why are they pulling him out after 5 innings? And then here comes your reliever, Samingo pitches the 6th, the 7th. He comes in the 8th, gives up. He's got a 1.17 ERA, gives up 2 hits, 2 runs gives up a 2-run homer. And then you give up a run with Kelly with a 3.45 ERA. Now, to contradict me, Watson comes in the 9th with a 6.20 ERA and shuts him out. So again, if you pitch Suarez for 8 innings, he's got 4-hit shutout going. You probably win the game because Watson comes in and shuts him out. So you wasted Suarez on 76 pitches for some reason, 4 hits. The whole thing makes no sense, but you're wasting it. Anyway, so that's what you have. So again, this is I got to 76 pitches. I got to pitch him at least 8 innings, if not 9. I got to pitch him the whole game, and if he goes 120 pitches, so be it. He can pitch 150 pitches. Not going to hurt these guys. All right. My phone kind of got fucked up yesterday, so I lost all my tabs, so I had to redo them. All right, let's look at it. May 15th already. Jesus Christ. We got Pitt against Philly. Philly at Pitt. So Philly just beat Boston. Pitt has a good hitting team. Boston, okay. Pitt 127-8. All games start like at 6:40, so we don't have the time problem. Pitt minus 127-8. Aaron Nola for Philly, he stinks. 514 against Ashcraft for Pitt. So I'm going to go with Pitt. Minus 127. We'll go 2 units. So the standard plays 2 units. Once in a while, 1. And then when I really got a big one, I'll go 4 or 5. And then as we get stronger and understand more, then we can start going with 10 unit plays. But right now, 5's the biggest one. So again, Ashcraft 281 and Nola has been pitching lousy. So I won't go over or under on the game because it's a neutral. I got a very good pitcher against a very weak one. So it could be a low scoring, could be high scoring. But in that situation, I like taking the good pitcher against the weak pitcher. So we'll go Pitt. Toronto goes to Detroit. So now Detroit gets to cheat and steal the signs. Toronto minus 120-8. We got Yashevich against Hannafy. Hannafy, I know, is a bullpen guy. Yashevich. He goes 4 and 5 innings, so he's must have been injured. So his ERA is a 0.69, but it's just for 4 innings. Toronto on the road sucks, 6 and 13. Detroit at home is good, 12 and 6 because they steal signs there. Hannafy, I don't know what are you going to do with him. He's a reliever. He's going to go 1, maybe 2 innings. Yashevich is actually a starter coming back, so you might get 3 or 4 innings there. The problem with these bullpen games is then they bring out a pitcher for an inning, and he pitches, he gets you out, and then he's gone, and so you don't really know what you're getting. You're getting a bunch of garbage pitchers. I really don't know what to do with this because I don't know if Toronto's hitting. I can't really bet Yashevich. I can't really bet the bullpen. So I'm just going to watch this game. I'd say it's an under because I don't think Detroit's going to hit this Yashevich guy with the 0.69. He's pitched 3 games. So I really don't see that happening. I'm going to go to an eyeglass place now, the one who's going to do my thing. She said, well, we can heat it up and we can fix it. I'm like, good, because they sold the glasses to me, although they're 8 years old. So hopefully they can. She said, well, we can fix it. I'm like, great. So anyway, Yashevich, I would think he shuts down Detroit. I think it's an under, but I don't know what I'm getting with the bullpen of Detroit. Baltimore goes to Washington. We got Baltimore minus 134, 9.5. We got Shane Baz, 552 for Baltimore, and Zach Littell, 861. We will go over here as Washington's playing a lot of high-scoring games, over 9, and this will be 2 units. You got a 5 and an 8 ERA, and that, see what gets you is then Shane Baz throws a shutout, and you're like, he had a 5 ERA. How the fuck can he throw a shutout? So you're just hoping they are pretty, like he gives up 3 runs, he gives up 4 runs, and you're close to 9.5. Okay. Milwaukee goes to Minnesota. So it's a Packer-Viking game. Green Bay minus 107-9 games in Minnesota. And we have no pitcher for Milwaukee, TBD, against Joe Ryan, who's a good pitcher for Minnesota. I don't know what to say here. Again, it's hard betting a game when you don't know who the pitcher is. That's like, can we bet the game? Oh, Mahomes is game time decision. We're not betting the game because if it's Mahomes is one thing, if it's the backup, it's another. So we really don't know who the pitcher is, and we can't really bet it. I certainly can't go over or under. So we'll leave that alone. The Battle of the Buckeye State. We got the Bengals against the Browns, and Prime Junior is going to be starting. So we'll bet on Cincinnati. Cleveland minus 129.8. We got Abbott, the 4.50 ERA for Cincinnati. Bibby 4.20. Let's go over here. Cleveland over 8. We'll go 2 units. Now Cincinnati's been scoring runs again. Cleveland, I don't know, but they both should hit these pitchers. Miami goes to Tampa. We got the Dolphins at the Buccaneers. Tom Brady's not there anymore. We got the Baker going against, I don't know who. Who's the guy on the Green Bay who went to Miami, the backup? Tampa Bay minus 117.8. Junk for Miami, 3.27 against Skolins. For Tampa, 6.30. I'm not betting Miami with junk and the totals. Tampa can hit. I'm going to watch this one. I'm going to put T-Bay over 8, but I'm not betting it. I just want to see if they should score a lot. The Yankees and the Mets. What is it? It's cross town rivalries. Cincy, Cleveland, Philly, Pitt, the Yankees and the Mets. Oh, that'll get me to tune in. The Yankees minus 152 in chat. We got Steve Schittler going for the Yankees, 136. Clay Holmes for the Mets, 188. Here we go. NYY under 7, and we're going to go 2 units. This is exactly 2 pitchers pitching under 2 a game. And I know I've been following, so I know these are real pitchers that have pitched 5, 6, 7 games. So this is what you look for. The Mets hit Detroit, which doesn't make, who cares? The Yankees are hot and cold. So this should be a low-scoring game. We'll see. The Yankees under 7, or the Mets under 7, if you prefer. Boston, Atlanta, this is the Braves against the Braves. Hank Aaron will play on both teams. Atlanta minus 144.8. We got early for Boston, 3-2-1. Strider for Atlanta with a 3-0-0. I don't know what to say. Atlanta is a powerful team, but they had that one guy injured. And Boston, they don't really hit well, especially going to be in Atlanta. I think Atlanta wins the game, but I'm not going to bet it. That's just my gut. My gut says I like Atlanta because Boston lost with Ranger Suarez yesterday. But I'm not. I'm going to put it down. I'm not betting it. Atlanta minus 144. The Bears against Northwestern. What is it? The Bears and the White Sox in Chicago. White Sox. The Bears are 139, 8.5. Cabrera 391 goes against Burke 510. But it's in the White Sox, so it's not. We're not on Lake Michigan. What do you do with this one? Shit, Chicago's 28-16. Holy crap. White Sox are 22-21. Wow, they're playing good ball. They got that one home run hitter. I don't know. I can't take the White Sox with Burke with the 5.10 ERA. Can't play him. Cabrera 391 and 8.5. I don't know. I'm leaning a little to the Cubs, but I'm not comfortable enough. Total maybe over 8.5. The White Sox can score. The Cubs I know can hit. Okay, let's go over. Let's take the Sox over 8.5. We'll go 2 units. They've been hitting. The Cubs have been hitting, and we're not there. We got Houston against Dallas. We got the Cowboys against the Oilers. How can there not be a Houston team? They moved to Tennessee. That was a brilliant move. Texas minus 105, 8.5. Lighter for Texas, 4.93 against Arrighetti. 193. I don't know. We'll put Houston down again. I don't want to bet them. Houston minus 103. So we're going to watch it, but that's what I get. I'm getting a lot of teams that are, and these are rivalry games. The Kansas City Chiefs go to the St. Louis Cardinals in this interdivision. St. Louis minus 110, 8.5. We got Waka 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 going for KC, 265 against Drake May, 493 for St. Louis. KC, I don't know if they hit. St. Louis hits. Again, this is a coin flip. I'm just going to watch this one. I don't want to go against Waka. St. Louis can hit them, but we'll just go from there. So we'll just watch. Arizona, Colorado. We got Arizona minus 118, 11.5. We got Kelly for Arizona, 7.62 against Freeland, a 6 ERA. So we will go over here. Colorado over 11.5, which is a big number. We'll go 1 unit on it. But with these two pitching, we should get 15, 16 runs. We got the Dodgers against California, the Angels in California. The Dodgers minus 216 and 9. We got Blake Snell, who has got a 12 ERA. He's a better pitcher than that, but he's been hurt. Against Kananakowicz, who we hate, but he seems to be pitching better. I really don't have a feel on this game. And we'll see Snell, but we got to get him back into it. And San Diego and Seattle, we've got Seattle minus 125 and 7. Vasquez with the 307 for San Diego, and Hancock with the 326. And I don't like this. 7 is too low. Again, I'm not sure who's hitting or not, so we'll leave that alone. The 49ers go to the Raiders. Montana against Stabler should be a good game, if only. It was funny how in the 80s, the Niners go to 5 Super Bowls, and Oakland goes to 2 or 3 of them, and they never played each other. It's just weird the way it was set up. That would have been the best Super Bowl, the Niners and the Raiders. Stabler against Montana. Wow. Nope, but they had to play Cincinnati twice, right? Oakland minus 125 and 10, again in the softball city. Mile for the Niners, 527. Chevalier for Oakland, 263. You kind of like Oakland here. I don't like the over 10 because the Niners don't really hit all that, and Oakland has the good pitcher. So it's almost, to me, an Oakland play. So let's play Oakland. And we'll play a minus 125. We'll go 2 units. Again, it's Chevalier with the 265 against Mayo at the 527. That's the key to it. So not a lot of plays. We got Pitt, 2 units. We got Washington over 9, 2 units. Cleveland over 8, 2 units. The Yankees under 7, 2 units. The White Sox over 8.5, 2 units. Colorado over 11.5. We're just going to go 1 unit because it's a high number. And Oakland minus 125 for 2 units. It's hard to read through these glasses. The lenses are not lining up. So that's baseball. Let's go to basketball. Now, we made the picks, but we will check the numbers, see if anybody's injured or not. We have Detroit at Cleveland. Cleveland 3.5, 210. We're taking Cleveland to clinch it tonight. I think they're the better team. Detroit, this isn't Orlando they're playing. And they got, so they got lucky against a very bad team. Once Frank Wagner was out, when he played, they couldn't even beat him. They were down. They lost 3 games to Frank Wagner, and then he gets hurt, and then they win. So what does that tell you about them? And then you've got here, they won the first 2 games against Cleveland, and now they've lost the last 3. What does that tell you? Cleveland was tired because of the game 7 against Toronto. And, we're getting into it. Then they figured out Detroit. And Detroit down the stretch is choking. Detroit should have won game 5, but they didn't. But I like Cleveland here in game 6. Even though it's 3-2 and Detroit has their back against the walls, I still think Cleveland does also. They don't want to lose at home and go to game 7. So they're going to play to win at home. Orlando had that. They were up 25 points at half to Detroit to clinch them. So they played. And then the second half, nobody, they all just tried jump shots. And it's disgusting, the NBA now. It's just, let's shoot jumps. And when they miss, oh, well, let's not get the ball in the paint. We have a 28-point lead. Let's just keep shooting three because the percentage is really high on that. I was watching Kareem, What's Wrong with the League, and Barkley, and then Magic, and Isaiah, and then Kareem. And Kareem said, well, don't tell anybody, but it's a lot easier to score 3 feet from the basket than shooting these long jump shots. And he kind of laughed like, yeah, I think he says the centers don't put their back to the basket and work. Everybody runs out for these long jump shots and you get tired. So most of them are misses. Even Isaiah was like, well, why don't they drive the basket? Get the foul. I mean, you should never lose a 20-point lead, but it shows you Detroit's not really prepared. And so I think Cleveland beats them. I like them laying the 3.5. And then San Antonio and Minnesota. San Antonio is up to 5.5, 218. I think they win. I think Winnebago is just too strong. San Antonio is still pissed off of the bullshit call against him and being suspended for the game. You can't do that. The NBA, who they joking, throwing the guy out for, it's not like he threw an elbow at the guy. He grabbed the rebound. The guy happened to get it in the chin, but it wasn't intentional. You can't throw a guy out for that. What do we see in the NFL? We see helmet to helmet hits all the time. They get penalized. They don't get thrown out of the game. I really hate the college rule because most of them are bullshit. The running back goes down and the guy's going down and they hit helmets. You get thrown out of the game for that. Well, we got to protect for concussions because if they sue us, we're fucked. So that's really what you're looking at. I can't wait to get these glasses fixed. I couldn't believe it. 5 stores yesterday, and nobody could fix my fucking glasses. They tried at 2 stores. They said, "Oh, I'll fix it," and no, I can't do it. You need to heat them, I think. And the store I'm going to go to can heat them and kind of melt them back. All right, so I like San Antonio, late 4.5, 5. Total of 218. Could be an over game also. But I San Antonio is just, they're going to kill them. 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 They're up 3-2. They don't want 7 games. They would have beat them in the other game 4, I think, if they didn't with the bullshit call throwing the guy out. They had him there. He's too dominant, blocks too many shots, and is the best player. So I like San Antonio to end it here. Yes, I know I should be taking Minnesota as a home dog in an elimination game. Normally I would, but it is such a discrepancy in talent with San Antonio that I just got to take San Antonio. All right, so that's your basketball. Take Cleveland, take San Antonio. Just 2 units, nothing special at this point. As Nick knows, when I see a lock in basketball, it's like a 30-unit lock. And unfortunately, I don't see that here. And I don't lock the lock. I lock when I see it. So it was like, I think Golden State, Cleveland. And Cleveland won game 1. It was somebody Golden State, and they lost the first game. And so they're at home. They'd blown a 20-point lead, and they lost by 2 or something. And now it was only like a 5 or 6 point spread. And Golden State had to win or they'd go down 2-0. And that was a 30-unit lock, and Golden State won by 30. And this time they didn't blow the lead. And that was it. Glasses hurt. I don't want to break them, but I picked them up and they kind of bent. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But it's normal. I put it on my laptop when I go to sleep, and I pick up the laptop, and the glasses were falling. So it was very, very frustrating. So anyway, those are the two. Again, normally I would take the team that needs to win, but as you can see, the Knicks killed Philly, and Philly beat Boston in must-win games. So I think the talent's so bad, and the league's so bad, and the three-point shooting that if you're not on, like Boston, they won that one game because they hit all the three-point shots. Detroit won game two because they hit all these three-point shots. But when you miss the three-point shots and you can't drive to the basket and you don't have a short game, you're fucked. So it's like a team. It's like Dan Marino. He can pass the ball, but if they're playing you to pass and they rush two guys, who did that? Penn State did that to Pitt. Marino's playing Penn State, and it's all passing, right? You got Marino, and what did they do? They rushed two guys, played a 9-man zone like they did against the Miami Hurricanes when they beat them in that championship game. And so Penn State just rushed two, and they got like 5 interceptions, and they killed them because Pittsburgh couldn't stop Penn State's running attack. So Penn State would run it in for a touchdown, and Marino's throwing into a 9-man secondary and throwing interceptions. You got to have balance, right? You got to have a game, and you can't just shoot 3-point shots. You got to have a game. Ray Allen, this is a pretty good clip. What's wrong with the NBA? And Ray Allen says, "Well, I like doing dunks and layups early to get my timing down and get into the game, and then I could shoot my 3-pointers later. But these guys are just shooting 3-pointers. There's no rhythm they can get into." So I'll show you what that was. A pretty good one. Old Isaiah, Magic. I don't think Bird did anything. It's this one here. NBA legends explain why the viewership is down. And their biggest response is because it's just all 3-point shots. So it's the same thing, and every team's the same. It's boring as crap. There's no excitement. There's no magic going between his legs and doing a no-look pass, or Bird doing a no-look pass, or Jordan. That was very exciting and a lot of drama. Now it's just they just stand there spaced out, and the whole game's just shoot threes, and it's boring. I can't watch more than 5 minutes. So it's very boring, and the big men aren't getting down. And Kareem says they're just not learning to put their back to the basket and do sky hooks and dunks and get in there. They're all the big men are standing out there shooting 3-point shots. Well, you're 7'2". You should be under the basket dunking the ball, not shooting 30-foot shots. Jokic and Luka Brasi. I mean, these guys suck. They can shoot 3-pointers. Fuck. I don't want a big guy who can shoot 3-pointers. I want a big guy who can dominate the paint, block the other team, and grab all the rebounds. That's what I want from a guy who's 7'2". I don't want him out 30 feet from the basket shooting 3-point shots. He can't grab rebounds. He can't pass, and he can't get assists. Like Bill Laimbeer, Bill Walton, they were great passers. Kareem. That's what you wanted from them. Even Chamberlain could pass the ball. Bill Russell. You want the big man passing, not shooting 3-point shots. So the whole idea of the big man being way out is ridiculous. Anyway. So I was watching this one on Inside Madoff's Fraud. It was a little different than Netflix, but it's very similar. It's about people trusting. See here, I don't. This guy's an idiot, right? Works for Egon. Um, so he's sitting there, and it's like precious metals expert. He ain't a precious metals expert. Anyway, now here's one that really gets to you. The Rockefellers wrote the curriculum for every public school. And you know what they said? Don't talk about gold and silver. That's why you don't know it. You don't learn it. I got lucky to learn it because it was in college in my master's program, and we learned about it. But this whole thing that the Rockefellers are going to write the curriculum, what the fuck is that all about? And it's not about gold. I'll watch it just to see, but what kind of crap is that? Oh, this looks like an interesting one. Billy versus Reggie. I hate when it does that. Billy versus Reggie on the Yankees. We all love Billy. We saw the worst fold ever. The guy folds a flush, I believe. Poker again. It's an insecurity of I'm going to lose a lot of money, so I will fold. Not that I have the best or worst hand, and that's the problem. So that's it. So poker's about insecurity. You're not looking at the reason for the bet or the fact the guy's probably bluffing. You're going, I don't want to lose that money. So if in my game, it's 1-2 no limit, and I'm taking $300-400, and I'm playing. So in that role, what are you doing? Some guy bets $200 at you. What are you going to do? Well, does he normally bet a lot? Is he bluffing? I see I don't get bluffed at too often because I'm very good at reading, and I notice I don't get a guy betting 200 unless he has full houses or something. But that's how I play, and that's how they read me. Like I ain't fucking with him. But if there's it's a check, and then 200 on the river. And would I think that's a bluff, or would I think, God, I don't want to lose 200, so I'm going to fold so it's the bet telling you what to do, and that's really the key to it. Do you really want to lose the money? But you're missing the point. That's why you take control of the hand early. That's why these slow play. Oh, I'm going to slow play my aces. Yeah, and you're going to lose because you don't know what the guy has because you weren't smart enough to make the bet to see what he was going to do. He probably folds if you bet, $50 with your aces. Again, in my game. See, if you play a guy like Patrick Antonius, you bet on the turn. He calls you to bluff the river. Most of the guys with the good hands kind of slow play it. They're trying to trap you. So you got to understand that that's the type of guy, that's the type of player he is. Some guys, I'm pretty aggressive. I'm going to bet my hand. And like I said, unless I flopped a set of aces, I'm going to check. But if I have the aces and I don't get the help, I'm going to bet the flop and probably the turn and see what comes up. If there's if there's two clubs on the board, I'm going to bet a lot because I'm going to want you to fold. The big bet's always to get you to fold. It's very rarely the big bet is to get you to call them. It's to get you to fold, right? If it's flop, I got aces. I want to get you out because there's two clubs on the board. If we're at the end of the hand and it's garbage, I'm going to make the big bet to bluff you to get you to fold because you probably don't have anything either. So the read now is, well, he's checking. He probably doesn't have much. So I'm going to make the big bet and he's going to fold and I win the pot. Sometimes though, when I play my game, there's $20 in the pot. It's really not worth bluffing. I'm going to bet 100 to win 20. And then the guy calls me because he's got his set and he slow played me and I lost $100 to win 20. So you got to be careful with that too. I prefer a pot with 3 or 4 people in it than my odds. I bet 10 and I get 3 callers. Now I got $40 in the pot versus heads up and I bet 10 and I get 10. So it's not a big pot. And a lot of pots, if they're really small, you just check them down because it's what am I going to do? Bet 20 and he's going to go out. Or he might, it might not be worth the bluff. So anyway, most of the bluffs are to get you out or to get you to think, I don't want to lose. I don't want to be a loser. I don't want to lose a big pot. I don't really have much. And I have no idea what he has. And that's why I say, if he starts watching the TV, you fold it. If he drinks his drink, you fold it. I mean, there's a few tells, but most of them you're trying to fold. If the guy's real quiet, you might think he's bluffing because you're relaxed, right? If you're relaxed, you're watching the TV and the ball game's on, you're watching the game. You're not worried about the other guy. So yeah, I got a full house. I'm not worried about him. But if I'm bluffing, I'm not looking at the TV. I'm like scared shit. I'm just sitting there silent. So that's a tell right there. If you sit there now, I sit there every hand silent. So if I'm in a hand, I'm looking down like this. You ain't seeing shit from me. And I ain't watching the game. I'll watch the game when I'm out, right? After the hand or, especially football. It's hard for me to play poker when football's on because I want to watch the football game. I don't want to really play poker. I can't. That's very rare. I'm going to do both. Anyway, so that's poker again. It's to deceive you into it's a big bet, so you don't want to lose a lot. So that's the logic. I don't want to lose. You're not even questioning, does he have a hand? The question should be, why did you make that big bet? Because if you really had a hand, you'd have been betting it and you would want me to call you. So I think that's the best way to look at it. If the guy makes on me a $200 bet, I'm sitting there going, don't you want me to call you? Like, why don't you want me to call? You want me to fold. Why would you want me to fold? Why would you not want me to call? Why would you bet so much? You obviously want me to fold. And that's kind of how you view it. Because the logic of most poker players is to win as much as they can, which means they don't make this huge bet. I wouldn't get a $200 bet at me. I'd get a $50 bet at me. And then it's up to me to call. You bet enough to get a call. So that's why these big bets make no sense because you're not going to get a call. But that's the point of the game. You finally hit a full house. You want to make money. But if you bet 500 with your full house, I'm going to fold. So you're not going to make money on your full house. So therefore, you won't make that big bet. And I say, once in a while, maybe he does. But I don't think I've ever gone all in with the full house when I want to. I'll bet $70 to get because I want to get called. I don't think I've ever made that. Once in a while, I will go all in. Mostly I'm pushed all in. Oh, I got quads and they're going all in. Well, I guess I'll call. So it's not usually the other way. I don't usually bluff all in like that. I usually bluff check. Okay, I'll bet 25 and then fold. And that's usually how I bluff is I do look at the other people checking and I will then, they're weak and I'll do it. I noticed they do that. Like Johnny Chan does that pre-flop. So it's some guy bets call. And he goes, well, nobody's got anything. Nobody's betting. I'll come over the top with the big bet and I'll win the hand right here. Now you must understand that you got pocket aces. You slow play it. And in the big game, I did that. I was first to act, and I look at, and this is a very big table that they're making lots of bets. And I wake up with aces, but I'm first to act. So I just check, waiting for somebody. There's 8 people waiting for a very aggressive table, somebody to start betting. And then I'm going to go all in on them pre-flop. And I would have won. And nobody bet. So it was the $2 went all the way around. It was like, what the fuck? The flop came like king 2-2. And somebody, of course, hit the set of twos, and I was fucked. And then the turn came with the ace, and I would have won, but I had to fold because aces don't beat a set, unless you get very lucky with the 2-outer. But, that's where position, if I was later to act, I would have probably bet $25, $30. And then I would have won a hand of $30. Nobody would have called me, and I would have won $30. So that's why you bet the 2, is to try to get the pot. Then you can, had it been like raised and re-raised, I was all in. That's what I was waiting for. It was a perfect setup, but I didn't get the help. Anyway, what else? So we got baseball, we got basketball. I guess the football schedules are coming out. Let's see if it came out today. Let's go. Let's go to the NFL. '26 schedule release. What teams do you want? Well, I know everybody wants Oakland. Seahawks, Patriots, Super Bowl rematch reportedly open the season. Who gives a fuck? Oh, wait. NFL, the wait for this is almost over. The official show is set for Thursday. Okay. I thought it was announced today. So they're showing like these games that are on the road. So big games. Week 1, the Niners and the Rams in Australia. Week 3, Baltimore and Dallas in Brazil. Week 4, Indy, Washington and London. Oh, that's a big one. Week 5, Philly versus Jacksonville in London. Well, at least Philly's there. Week 6, Houston and Jacksonville in England. So 3 games in England in a row. 2 Jacksonvilles. Very exciting. Week 7, Pitt goes against New Orleans in France. Cincinnati, week 9, Cincinnati plays Atlanta in Spain. Week 10, New England and Detroit in Munich. And week 11, Minnesota and the Niners at Mexico City. Okay. Somebody explain that to me, why there's 10 games. Like, I don't get the point. In other words, do you think you're going to get more demand for the game in Spain than if you played it in Seattle, Brazil, Germany, 3 games in London, Australia? What are we really doing here? Are we trying to add? Is that going to add viewers? They're not going to watch our games because I know I was in the Ukraine. The games start at midnight. When I'm in Germany, they're on at 10 o'clock at night. It's a 5-hour difference. So you start the game at 4. At 1 o'clock, it's 6 o'clock. You get a 4 o'clock game. It's on at like 9, 10, and they have no interest in it. They do not want to watch. They want to watch soccer. I mean, you go around and say it's the most popular game, but you're going to shove football into Mexico and Germany and Australia, and believe me, in Madrid, they're looking at Picasso's. It's a very strange thing that they're doing. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It tires out the players. Jacksonville will be nothing. They'll play the 2 games in London, and that's it. When they come home, they'll be on the wrong time zone. They'll be extremely tired, and they won't win another game because they're fucked because of this stupid travel. I mean, so what's the point? You have 3 games in London. To London, can they even afford the tickets? Because they're broke in London. You've got all these Middle Easterns living in London now. The normal people who lived in London are gone. You have all these riots going on. You have massive inflation. The money's not worth anything. So what am I doing in Jesus? What am I doing in London? What am I gaining? How am I making money in London? Because it's an even split, right? So Philadelphia is playing Jacksonville. Well, if they played the game in Philly, it'd be sold out. If they played the game in Jacksonville, it would be sold out. But you're playing the game in London. You're losing the revenue. Let's say you're playing in Philly. You're losing all that revenue. And then are you going to make it up by London? Is it the TV revenue that's making it? Are the London people what? They're going to start tuning in. They're going to start buying jerseys. I mean, that's bullshit. These people don't have money. Germany, there's no money. Madrid, no. Australia, broke. Brazil, broke. So they're all broke. I mean, I'm surprised Brazil, it's a BRICS country. Where's the game in India? What is the point of this? I don't really get it. I really thinking as a finance person, why would we play the game in Australia? What are we looking to gain? And the only thing I can think of is the TV revenue, because you're not getting fans are fans, right? They're either fans already or they're not, and they're all into soccer. You're not getting them away from soccer. And do they care about American football? Most of them don't. The only reason we care is because we bet on it. So if they're not going to bet on it, I don't get it. So that's probably it. So we'll look at the schedules next week, but I don't understand these games in different countries. It really makes no sense to me. And anything else? I'm not getting comments. That's okay. It's free. And you can ask questions. So feel free. Again, in basketball today, we're taking Cleveland to clinch and San Antonio to clinch. Baseball, we're going Pitt, Washington over 9, Cleveland over 8, the Yankees under 7, the White Sox over 8.5, Colorado over 7.5, and Oakland minus 125. So that's what we got. Again, so the most important ingredient in life is communication. If you communicate, all things should go. You won't get stressed by not understanding, and that's why I think you get stressed. The husband, he's out. Where are you? It's 10 o'clock at night. The wife's all stressed. Are you cheating on me? Are you having where are you? And he's not communicating, or he's lying. And if he just says I'm with Sally, we talked about that, and you're fine that I see Sally. And then you've got that, right? You would know if the girl is okay or not. And then it's up to you to go see Sally or not. And then do I lie about it? Well, you don't want to lie about it. So if you're not going to lie about it, then either you don't see Sally in the first place. So you haven't married or dated the right person if you're looking for other girls, unless everybody's okay with that. I'm not saying they are, they're not, but there are girls that are okay with it and the ones that aren't. But you shouldn't go out late and not tell your girlfriend or your wife that, well, where are you? I'm worried. I do that with Daria. I get worried when I don't hear from her. But, I just want to make sure she's safe. I don't care if she's out screwing around. She's Russian. There's nothing I can do. anyway because I'm so far away. But that's kind of the point of it. It's what do you have? But that's why you keep in communication. And that's the case. As long as you have good communication and you say, hey, I'm gonna go like Alyssa knows about Daria. So if I'm texting Daria, she knows about it. I don't keep it a secret. I am very honest about it. I do have Daria, but she's in Russia, so I can't really go to her. And that's it. And Daria knows about Alyssa too. I don't keep the secret. Now it's up to them if they are comfortable or not. Jenna doesn't want to know, but I don't tell Jenna those. She's not comfortable with that. So I don't bring it up to her. But I do with the other two. And anyway, that's just the way it is. You be honest, and then they know what it is, and then they can take it from there. Anyway, I think that's it. I'm going to have a hamburger. I cooked yesterday, so the stove kind of works. The burner didn't work yesterday, and the guy came and it fixed it. And the fridge has been nice and quiet. I'm so excited. So I wouldn't mind if it was quiet a lot and it just came on, but it like goes all night for some reason. I don't, well, I'm more active like at night, cooking dinner yesterday. So I had it open. It's like I'm scared to open it up, but I don't care now because I'm going to get the eyeglasses and then I will probably go to the pool. And I have hamburgers. I'll probably make an omelet for dinner. I'll eat a hamburger for lunch with the pita, but then I'll go from there. Anyway, that's about it. So communication is the key. Work sucks for everybody because of bad bosses, bad management, bad owners who are fucking clueless. Like the owner of this apartment complex to not give me a new fridge is ridiculous. I mean, that's appalling. But that's the thing. If you have good ownership, good management, the job will work. Like Herrenwalker and Mercedes. Mercedes was tough at first. I didn't really like it the first month or so, but then they started to like me because they could see I was doing the work and it was accurate. And that was it. So, my problem is I get bored. I am very high IQ, very skilled, and I'm very fast at my job. I mean, that's why I can do baseball just by looking at it, right? And so I get done. I'm okay. I need to recharge my battery, so I need a half hour to relax. And I'm screwing off. I'm not screwing off. I just did 4 hours work in 1 hour. I need to recharge so I can do 4 more hours worth of work in an hour. And that's something I don't know how you invited into the interview. But I think if you're honest with that, then it would help. You might not get some jobs, but the jobs you do get, they'll know that you're very efficient, very fast, very productive, but you need to recharge. And so they'll understand it when they see all the quantity and quality of work you do. Anyway, that's it. So don't lie. There's no reason. It's very disrespectful. Just tell the truth. And then if the person judges you, I don't like somebody who smokes cigarettes or drinks. Okay, fine. And don't like me, and I won't waste my time with you. And that's kind of how it is. Who do I want to spend time with? And you're open. So anyway, off to the glasses. Have some lunch. Glasses. Good luck today. There's a lot of games I want to see the results today to see, they hit, they're not hitting. And that's it. So the only streak I saw was Detroit's on like a 4-game losing streak. But the problem is like the Mets are on a 3-game winning streak, but they beat Detroit 3 games. Now they play the Yankees. So I really you got to be careful with the streaks in that regard of it's against one team and now they're against another. Although the Cubs didn't have a problem winning 10 in a row twice. Milwaukee last year, they win 16, 17 in a row. We were on them 10, 11 times. I had the Yankees under for 2 weeks, and they won every game. They went under every game. So we will see. Anyway, I think that's about it. So I got my microwave, and then hopefully the fridge is okay. And then that's about it. I don't know what else I need. I want to get a few chairs for this, but I'll probably do that later. I don't need it now. And I got a lamp that I got to put together. It's a little dark. I did ask him for a new chandelier because this one's extremely like it's dark. It's like a 30, 35 watt, I think. I want the 60 watt one. So I said, can I get a new one? That'll be stronger. Well, I don't know about I got an electrician. He can install it. I just want to know that I just want to do that. So you'll know I changed chandeliers, and then I can put the bigger bulbs in and it's brighter. And that's the problem when you walk through the place at noon, you don't really know what you're looking for. And then when you're here at night and you go, oh, it's pretty fucking dark, then you start asking those questions. Anyway, I think that's it. So www.tcking.com. Enjoy your Friday, enjoy your May, enjoy your weekend. Good luck. Let's take our last look at gold and silver. I know it sucks today. It's out of our hands, and it's strictly JP Morgan playing his fucking options, probably because of oil, something to do with the war. And let's see. So we're at 76.22. I can't believe silver was just 88 yesterday. Look at it, down $8. Why? No reason. 45.43 again. It got up to 47 and then it stayed 46 and now back to 45, which is it's going between 45 and 47. Again, it's fixed by JP Morgan. What we're looking at is BRICS buying the shit out of it. The demand is strong, very strong, and the supply is very low. So the prices will go up. I don't know what they're doing, price fixing. I don't know. It's not legal. They are trying to sell things they don't own, right? You got 4 million tons of paper gold and 200,000 tons of physical. How are they selling 4 million tons of paper gold when they don't have the gold? Totally illegal, totally a Ponzi scheme. So we know in the long run we'll be fine, but the key is I can't hold dollars anymore because they're worthless. They keep printing them and printing them every month. They got to print Social Security, interest on the debt, the $40 trillion in debt. So the dollar's gone. So you really don't have a choice. You've got to get into gold and silver. They can suppress it all they want, but there's a point where it doesn't matter. They're going to just keep buying. BRICS will just keep buying it. China and Russia and India, they're just going to keep buying it. The demand's strong. The US and Europe will have to buy it when their dollars collapse. British pound, the euro, the dollar, the Swiss franc will all, the yuan, the yen, the rupee, the ruble, they're all worthless because they're not backed by anything. All right. Have a good day. www.tcking.com. And I got to get new glasses already. All right. Take care, everybody.